Hey guys, Kevin Z here from MyWiFi Networks, and today I have a very special guest with us. One of our premier partners, Zack Greenfield, is here with me on the call. Zack, hello, good afternoon.
Hey Kevin, how is everybody? How you guys doing?
Yeah, we're good here, and I appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to chat with us. And so Zack is one of our old-time MyWiFi partners. He's helped set up in the city of Sedona, and rather than steal his thunder, let me ask you, Zack, directly, if you could tell us a little bit more about yourself, kind of what you were up to, and how you found out about social Wi-Fi.
Yeah, just like quick, background. I've been selling online and doing some version of digital marketing for the better part of about 10 years now. I've sold everything from supplements to live tickets to streaming. And the last 3 years, I really rebuilt the agency to be more focused on SEO and traffic. And my Wi-Fi sort of fits right into that, being a traffic generator. And one of the things we've done with it that's been really amazing is it's like an add-on service. So if you're into, local business, digital marketing, or local search, and you have a lot of local business customers that have, physical stores and foot traffic, then the My Wi-Fi platform just fits in great with being able to offer more services, engage the client at a deeper level. So you might have like a web design or an SEO project that might go, 4, 6, 10, 12 months. The Wi-Fi platform, though, kind of solidifies that relationship. So you have an ongoing underlying connection with the client, and you can position yourself as the go-to person for a lot of other things. So it's a really kind of like, I don't know if you call it foot in the door, but it's like jam in the door for relationship building.
Yeah, no, that's great. And I mean, for you specifically, I know that you're in the area of Sedona. Can you tell us a little bit more about your clients and the reach that you've had in that area and kind of how you deployed that network?
Yeah, so I started small with it. I mean, just like probably most people, I just thought it was cool pretty much when I heard from, you and kind of saw the presentation and, it's something about it just like made sense to me. I was like, this is a no-brainer, why not leverage something people are giving away for free anyways. There's already costs associated with it. The businesses aren't really getting anything back except for like maybe a little bit of goodwill. But the, My Wi-Fi platform offers, tangible sort of ROI, if not tangible data return on an investment that they're already putting in the business for infrastructure. So it was kind of like, to me, it just kind of like resonated when it was presented to me by you. And I thought, well, there's definitely people here that could use that. And one of the things about my town, Sedona in particular, and probably a lot of tourist towns, is we sort of have like, kind of financial potential energy that comes to the town like every weekend, right? So it's like, there's this potential. It's like, whatever they say, 100,000 visitors, let's, just to call it that on average, about every weekend or something. And it's like, okay, well, what kind of net can you throw out to capture some of that every weekend? And there's lots of different versions of that businesses employ here. There's, they put little easel signs out on the sidewalk. That's kind of like, I actually compare my Wi-Fi to the easel sign to some, to simplify the conversation for some clients. But, there's that. And then there's like the people buy banners, and you're always trying to like get traffic and engage customers, right? If you're a business in a tourist town, and I'm only speaking from my perspective. But this is an interesting product for this type of environment because you have people that are traveling and a lot of global travelers here in this market. But even when people are traveling, they're especially interested in, not incurring roaming charges, and they might not be on their native carrier and all these other sort of, billing issues. So they're looking for Wi-Fi and looking to, get connected, check email, post to Facebook, keep up with home and work and all those things. So there's actually a legitimate need to provide network access in a tourist environment where you have good foot traffic like you do. Mm-hmm. And then it's like, okay, well, what's the natural add-on to that is, well, let's capture and retarget and remarket these people. And it's not even like, you can kind of think of it as like, oh, it's just, there's one slant on, it's like sort of like Dr. Evil stuff. You're like, messing, like sending ads and like peppering everything. But our approach to it is that we take a very like more like concierge or pro visitor approach to the marketing. So most of the things that we offer through the automated backends are like helpful bits of information, like our best hikes and places to eat and things like that. so that the open rates are incredible. I mean, we have open rates that are like, we had some stuff last weekend. It was running like 72% on open rates.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, which I mean, is in traditional email marketing is like unheard of. But because we're doing hyper relevant messaging, so, you know, we know the person where they are, we know the person, you know, kind of where they, what time of day it is even, right? And we might, you know, have seen them other places in our network. And so then we can target the messaging so that it's very relevant and we can get very high open rates, you know. And then the open rates are great because, you know, you can earn some trust with that list or with the visitor or user of your system. And then, you know, then they're more open, of course, to additional offers and things like that. So we take a position that the system is, you know, providing a useful platform for businesses to talk about themselves more than it is to like just try to cram advertising down people's throats. So it's more, and I'm an old like content marketer guy, so that's probably my version of how I think good marketing can work in the information age, is to position your offers and build authority and trust with your lists and so forth through good content and actually giving, especially on the first, second, and third rounds with people. And I think, Kevin, you do this with your stuff, is to really be, you know, like, you know, give people information, give them tools, help them start to solve their problems and things, and then try to figure out a way for them to support you financially, so that there's a balance in the exchange. But that's not the first agenda, you know? And so that's kind of the way we do it. But yeah, the network that we built here is actually pretty extensive. I have a network partner in town that is one of the best commercial ISP providers here. And we kind of got on this thing together. They were trying to figure out how to monetize and deploy a system where there was good data tracking and analytics and things. And that was difficult to do until we kind of got together and we all reviewed the MyWiFi platform and figured out how to fit it together. So we have it running through most of the tourist corridor in town in like a blanketed, sort of almost feels like a municipal system. I also have smaller instances, like a lot of people start with, like I have, you know, a coffee shop and a restaurant, and we're actually going to do a doctor's office here, I think in the next couple of weeks, that has like a gym, and, you know, it's like a physical therapy place. So they have decent foot traffic. So it fits in with lots of places where even if you have a small waiting room, it's a cool thing to have, and you can price it for that. Or if you have, you know, like a public athletic field or something where there's a lot of activity on weekends, you know, you can price it right for that. So one of the things you've done a good job with is like making the back end costs reasonable so that guys in my position can go out and price like all over the place. I mean, I honestly can tell you, I have some stuff that's just running for free, period. Like I have some things out there that I just don't charge people for at all. Because again, it goes back to that relationship building, you know, and using the tool to demonstrate, you know, some marketing ideas that people probably weren't even aware of, or even to just help a business out in another way. So we might have done, you know, a website or something for them. And then, you know, I see they're trying to kind of get traffic and do better with their customer engagement, you know, and I don't know, it's just, to me, it just seems like the right thing to do. It's like you put a $70 box in there and kind of change their life. It's like, why not do that for a couple of months? You know, it's like, so we've done a couple of those for sure. And I think that's a good thing to do.
That's great. And thank you for sharing all of that. I think specifically a couple of things that you've told me before is that you sometimes even get replies to the emails that go out. So people connect to the Wi-Fi hotspot, they connect with Facebook, you grab all their name, their details, their gender, their birthday, and then you automate a message from Infusionsoft that goes to the client directly with coupons or booklets. And people actually respond to that email saying, hey, whoever sent this, thank you so much, because these coupons are saving me money. The map really helped. I know which hikes to go on. So, you know, a lot of people might think, am I bothering the client when I'm sending an email automatically? And in fact, people are thanking you. So, you know, kudos to that. I mean, you're doing content marketing right. Yeah,
exactly. So just, I mean, on the back end, you know, I think I don't know, I like to say I was the one that kind of like pushed on the Infusionsoft thing. And I know it's like, it's a big product and there's some cost to it and stuff, but it's without a doubt the most powerful back end connection that you can put in with your system, because of like a lot of the other things they offer, like site tracking, So you could take, I mean, for all the people that know Infusionsoft, this is old news, but for those that don't, features like somebody gets on the list of the MyWiFi system, visits a client website, and then gets a relevant message because of that visitation, because we can put Infusionsoft tracking codes and things like that. So there's like some really high level automation that happens there that I didn't find on any other platform. So I'll just thank you very much for making that happen, because to me, it was the natural way to kind of go big with this. We have running in there, dozens and dozens and dozens of emails that are like time-based and firing all sorts of different stuff based on where they are. And it's so scalable and manageable that I don't even necessarily, like when we take a new client on, I bring them right into the same Infusionsoft agency account that I have, and I just run them in a sort of separate pocket with separate tagging and things like that. So I can kind of centralize dozens of projects into one CRM, which is not always the case with some of the other products out there. So I mean, if you can afford it or if it makes sense for you, I definitely recommend that. But yeah, if you do your messaging right, we do get maybe it's not once a week, but it's fairly often that we'll get a nice message back. Hey, thanks very much for the information on the restaurants.
That's when you're doing a good job. You forward that to the clients, and the client says, hey, people came into my restaurant recommended by you, and they're thankful for it. I mean, that's a really big impact.
Yeah, exactly. We also use it to drive reviews and stuff. It's another part of the services that we provide here at the agency is like reputation management and things. It's another slant on this. If somebody's hurting on Yelp, or they don't have a lot of TripAdvisor activity, or they just had some problems with Google reviews, or a great example of that is like when a business changed hands and somebody's trying to, do better with their reviews and kind of just polish up the image of the business that they purchased. This is a great way to drive a lot of reviews, because you can send lots of messages that are timed, like somebody sits down to eat, they connect to Wi-Fi, you assume that's probably the front end of their visit to, say, a restaurant example. Then within 30 or 40 minutes, you can send them, a nice note. We're so glad you came in. We love our reviews on Google, or we love our reviews on whatever platform. And here's a link to do that. We have all sorts of cool ways to create like pre-formatted reviews and things that launch 5-star reviews and stuff. So that's been really helpful. We've been able to use it that way also for reputation management, which is probably not something people recognize right away when they look at the platform.
Yeah, that's great. And something that we did as well is we created the automation tools, and you can automatically trigger that message, as you mentioned, if you want to send it when somebody sits down, or X amount of time when somebody leaves, because it's all about the right message at the right place and the right time. And for those who are watching this, definitely Infusionsoft is an awesome platform, but you don't need Infusionsoft to send emails to our platform. We have a built-in mail server. You can actually plug in your Google account or a SendGrid account, and you can also use MailChimp and any of the other CRMs that are, I think MailChimp actually has a free automation. So it's like the mini Infusionsoft, really like the basic version, at no charge. So
yeah, I think it's cheap to do that. I actually probably have accounts that are running on almost every platform that you offer integrations with. My big projects, obviously running on Infusionsoft. But I got to tell you, since you improved the messaging automations, because you have abilities to connect to and integrate with these other services, but you also have a native messaging service in your platform now that's actually really effective, and the timing on that is actually really great. So there are quite a lot of things now that where I would have gone and built more complicated stuff because it wasn't there yet. Now that you've improved that, I find myself honestly just using the messaging that's native to the platform effectively, and not having to go off and deal with integrations and third-party stuff, logging into something else. Like if somebody just wants to change something for the weekend real quick, they're like, oh, can you send out this? We're having a special or something this weekend. Can we just get that on the system? I'll just go to the native messaging and create that message there and time it correctly. Mm-hmm. And it can even layer in with other stuff that's running in the background, but it's just going to get prompted, and I know it's going to work, and I don't have to worry about a lot of extra testing and things. So that part's just been great recently.
Right. Yeah.
We're all working really good.
Yeah, thank you for that. And I think, we worked really hard on that to make it real time and speedy. And I think, especially if you plug in your own mail server, for any client who either wants a one-off promotion or just wants to basically send a thank you message, hey, thanks for visiting for the 5th time, here's a message, you can do all of that natively in the platform. And even going a step further, I know that you do the full service and you command extra revenue for having a full white glove solution, but you can also create a sub user for your client to log in themselves and just go to that automation section and just create the email and actually send it themselves. So it's a great opportunity, and I'm really happy to see that you're really making the most out of that and getting some real tangible results with your connections and your follow-up sequences all throughout all the platforms you're using.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's one thing to, get email lists, and there's a lot of ways, obviously, people do that. But, the money is in the follow-up. There's no question about it. You've got to spend the time to, create these follow-up messages, and even if you just took like a prescription sort of thing, like for every client, and you're like, I'm going to send one message that's thanks for coming, or welcome to, kind of like a welcoming message, one message that's please leave us a review, and one message that's like, here's a coupon for your next visit. I mean, to me, like, if you're going to set up something, I mean, that would be like where I would just basically start with everybody. I wouldn't put it out there with less than that. And the reason why is that you'd be underselling it. If you set up a gateway, it's like, it's definitely cool. People love seeing their brand. They log in. They don't have to like worry about employees getting bogged down in password questions and, that kind of stuff that used to happen before you got this whole thing started. But to build that relationship with a client and really show them what the whole thing's about, it's that back end messaging and the ongoing communication is really where the whole thing starts to sing in my mind.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And let me, because I know you were selling SEO reputation. You're still actively selling all the products you sold before. But if you can just quickly go into how Wi-Fi has helped you, you called it, the door crasher, not just the door opener. How do you use it as your main, interest level, or where does Wi-Fi come into your sales process? As far as, is it early? Is it later? You mentioned you give it away for free to, plant the seed. But I think it's important for everyone to hear from you. You've done very well with this, to use Wi-Fi as a big part of your business.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like, at first when I saw it, I was like, okay, this is a great thing that is a simple way to just, and I mean, I'm a little like maybe unusual that I will go into a new place I'm eating. I've seen you do this too. It's like, I'll just be eating there and I'll log on to their thing and it'll just be crap. For instance, it's like some like IBAN, like non-branded, accept the terms button or something like old school stuff, and I'll look at that, or I got to go get a password from somebody. And if I'm in a situation like that where, because I do it, just to see, and I'll say, well, hey, do you have the password for the Wi-Fi? Yeah. Would it be cool if you had a system where I could log in and you didn't have to give me a password, but it was still secure? And then they're like, yeah, that would be cool, but do they even have that? I go, well, where's your manager? I can show them one. And, and I'll try to just like go after them right there. I mean, just for fun, because here's the thing, like on the selling cycle for that, right? I don't really care in that conversation about if I'm going to try to start to like sell them for money. All I want to do at that point for me, and this goes back to I'm answering your question. It seems like I'm kind of off track, but I tell you how this works for me. I will just get the manager or whoever the decision maker, try to get to that person, and then get them engaged with the idea that they could have this better thing. And then they go, oh, well, how much is it? Be like, well, you know what? I don't know, how much you paying the other guy or whatever, something like that. Like find out what their budget is. Like how much you spending on internet every month? Oh, we're spending $250 and then like, or something, and then maybe base it off of that, save them a little bit of money. Or if it's like a smaller place, like a little coffee shop, and I know they don't have a lot of money, but I know they have other marketing needs. That's the thing, is like, it goes back to like my SEO traffic, my website, optimization, our design leg of the agency. I mean, we do beautiful websites and really awesome other work. So I'm not even like looking as the MyWiFi necessarily for my thing as the end all be all sale. So I'm just looking like, here's something cool I can do for you guys. How much is it? Well, I'll tell you what, I do all these other things and I bet you'd like those too. Why don't you we'll do this one for free and then let's talk about some of your other problems, or something like that. Sometimes I'll just do it that way, But I can tell you that, and I know you and I have discussed this, I've definitely landed some really big deals through going in with this system as a lead sell for bigger businesses that have lots of foot traffic, where they might pay $1,000 or more a month to have all the automation managed, all the content creation done, all the emails written. Full agency level, service for that. And then we do reporting and show them how many emails were sent. We work with if they have an internal marketing person, fine. If they don't, we help them create offers. I have a whole system of that we just recently built, Kevin, that you would probably be interested in. It's like a whole ad block rolling system, kind of copied a little bit what you did with advertising, but it's more of a conceptual helper for clients so that they can figure out how to build stuff that's constantly rotating, so they're not struggling every month with what to offer. So we've done some things like that, and then those are great, monthly checks, no question about it. They add up to thousands and thousands of dollars, but they open up, once you've got that level of trust with something. We done one $2,000 deal, and I'll just give you, it's like a financial example for some people that are kind of maybe doubting or questioning the real world examples. I can tell you, done one $2,000 a month MyWiFi setup that translated into over another $17,000 in other marketing services for our agency. So and now, so that's a $24,000 a year ongoing relationship, plus add on every time there's project. And so far, so that one sale this year, probably 35, 40K from one client. And it was catalyzed by starting the conversation with the network access and loyalty cards from your brick and mobile product, and how to do that in their bigger restaurants. So, awesome. There's, it just builds on, and one of the things I've learned in this, doing this for for a long time now, but client services for about 3 years, is you will never imagine the level of problems that people really have that you can solve. It stuns me every week. Honestly, there are so many things even if you have, if you have 20 clients, that's a ton of work for 3 or 4 people all the time. You can create a full-time life and business and do really well even with just not that many people. So people that have in their head, they're doubting themselves and they're like, oh, I gotta have 100 people or 500 people, whatever the things are where you're doubting that, you have to there's this massive scaling thing you have to go through. I'd say no to all that. I'd say if you had, even if you had 15 or 20 people and you can make some websites and you can do a little bit of, outsource some graphic design work, and you can, kind of help people out, you can make money at every single pass. And MyWiFi is a part of, having good, solid relationships with your clients, for sure.
Yeah, well, thank you for that. And I think, the big thing to take away from that is that I know we built this in the sense that you mentioned it best. Once you get the Wi-Fi in there, it kind of feeds your other platforms. You're generating leads. You're building a Facebook audience. You're actually creating earned media that then what happens, right? They call you, the agency, saying, hey, look, now we have a big email list. Now we have a big Facebook audience. Now, help us monetize that. And then you come in there with the content and the follow-ups and you actually show tangible results. That is the problem that's solved. And the bigger the problem, the more people will pay you. A lot of people say that, the more money you'll make is, you've got to ask the question, how big is your problem? So when you're dealing with local businesses and their problem is we don't have enough foot traffic, we don't have enough sales, we want to understand our customers better, we want to build an email list, this is almost what every local business is trying to do. And you act as that lifeblood, that river of data that kind of fills all your other services. So that's a great example, and thank you for that.
Yeah, no problem. It's a pleasure to be able to share a little of this stuff. I know, I'm like anybody else. I wake up some mornings and I kind of have my own, I doubt some stuff, or I get nervous, or I don't want to put myself out there, or whatever. There's a lot of reasons why people don't move forward in their day, their work day, their work week, their life. But, my just offering a little bit of reassurance that it doesn't take much to just get a little bit of momentum. It's easy to start with somebody, for free and do some testing. Even another slant on that, actually, I think when I first got your system, I actually did that. I went to a couple of businesses that I regularly patron, and they kind of, they might know me a little bit. And I said, hey, I do marketing and I want to test this thing. Would you guys, be a guinea pig? And they're like, well, what is it? I was like, well, it does this. And then they go, okay, yeah, that's cool. Our thing kind of sucks anyways. So, it's really just like that to get started. And then you have 2 or 3 people that are doing it. And then you have something to talk about, so that that really helps you like get like kind of off the bottom up without feeling like you have to be an expert salesperson or you got to be able to talk as fast as you do with, product knowledge and like, just kind of all the answers. And you don't have to have any of that stuff. You just have to be maybe authentic and a little vulnerable and you can still get it done,
Yeah, good point. And you got to knock on doors. That's the biggest thing. You got to actually let the clients know you exist, which is what you do really well. And you came in there with huge value. You mentioned you're at a restaurant, you don't even plan to sell, but you open your phone, you see, some subpar solution. You're going to let that business owner know right away, hey, look what I can do for you. And I'll do it even for free. I'll come back in a week and I'll show you tangible results. And that really shows a lot of trust. And that opens up a door of, a path of upsells that really is where you make all your money.
Yeah, I guess another one that's like that, just since we're kind of giving away little ideas here, another one that I think is like a home run is to use MyWiFi, like just back to that reputation management thing, right? So one of the only reasons that like you make money or I make money is because we solve problems. That's it, right? There's a problem out there, your software solves it, makes it better, cheaper, faster, however you want to say it, but it's a problem solving thing, solution based, right? So, and I do the same thing here. It's like we solve website problems, traffic problems, SEO problems. So just talking about reputation management. If you go into any restaurant and they have less than 4 stars on Google, that's kind of my tipping point. It's like if they have less than 4 stars, I deem that as a problem for the restaurant, period. That's the breaking point. Because I don't want to eat at a place that's 3.6 stars.
Right.
I just think like, that's what I'm trying. Well, I don't want to own it. So if I'm like with my wife, and she's like, yeah, you want to eat here? And I go, yeah, well, there's this place, this place, and this place. I'm not going to be, I'd say, yeah, this looks good, but, and I'll call it out. I'll be like, but it's only like 3.5 stars. So who knows what we're going to get,
Right.
And so I'm already like covering myself on that, right? Because I know it's not like guaranteed it's going to be good. Okay. This is kind of a funny story, but it's true. So if you end up in a restaurant, either by saying you'll go eat at this place or not, or you just don't look at reviews and you're running around and you just go into a place to grab something, look at those reviews. And if they're less than 4 stars, I think that's one of the best things you can do with MyWiFi is go to the manager of the restaurant and say, hey, I noticed you have less than 4 stars on your reviews. I actually think your restaurant is really great. The food was good. The service was pretty decent. And one of the things we do is we have a system that can help fix that. Mm-hmm. And the guy he's immediately going to be all ears. And you go, well, how do you do it? Well, we put in a system that takes over your Wi-Fi and allows people to get asked so that they will make reviews so that we're not relying on your employees and you have an automated way to solicit good, positive reviews in your business. Mm-hmm. Would that work for you if you could get over 4 stars? So a little bit of the collaborative sell there, if we could do this, would that work for you? Yeah, that would work great. Okay. Can you afford, $100 a month or $200 a month or whatever the number is to fix that right now? If we can start fixing it actively immediately for you. Yeah, that would be amazing because I know it's hurting me, and so it's a little bit of a twisted sell. Like, so you're not talking, so all that other stuff, like just talking about product knowledge stuff, all the like fancy gateway talk and it does this and it's authenticated and it's Facebook logins, like all the complicated stuff for the beginner, the first person that's like trying to, just get started. You can have like a real conversation about real world issues, offer to solve a problem. This just happens to be the tool you use to do it. They don't really care about that anyways. They just want the problem to go away. So it's just one example of how to kind of look when you're in a business, because reviews are public. You don't have to know anything behind the scenes to find that problem. So that's just maybe one tip that people can use. It's a little bit of a different angle on how to get your foot in the door with some of these conversations.
That's some great advice and huge advice. You just need your phone, open up Google, and all your sales and leads are right there. And even using the Facebook Wi-Fi Finder, I know I did a little video on that before, where you can actually search for leads in your area. Just a massive way for you to open those doors. And I love, and a big point that I want everyone who's watching this video to understand is that Zack didn't go out there leading with Wi-Fi and Facebook Connect or opt-ins or data or integrations, like none of the busy talk. He would literally, I know you have a problem. Here's the problem. I'm going to show you it on your phone, right? Like, here it is. I got your reviews. It doesn't look
busted.
Pretty. Right, busted. And I have a solution that will help you, and I'll automate it, and I'll prove it with a guarantee. Do you want to learn more? That's the number one qualifier. You're not asking about Wi-Fi. You're not getting them thinking about technicalities or changing wires. It literally is, I have a problem that identified. You have a problem identified that you have. Would you like me to solve it? And I mean, that's just a no-brainer there. So Zack, thank you so much for sharing that with us. And I just quickly also want to just dive into your live dashboard to show you guys and those on the call, like really what we're looking at here in the dashboard. And this is Zack's real live campaign. It's in an area called Lakapake. Did I say it right?
No.
No, I didn't say it right.
It's Tlakapake.
Lakapake. I'm close enough. But this is a very big tourist area in Sedona. As you can see here, Zack has everything set up here with a sponsor area. You can connect here with Facebook, email, Twitter, or LinkedIn. And all of these leads are piped in directly to the platform. So jumping on the back end here, you can actually see the users that are connecting to this individual hotspot in real time. You can see 5 minutes ago, 1 hour ago. And when you click on the individual user, you see their Facebook details, their real email, their MAC address, their phone, everything they connected to. And this is obviously great data that Zack takes back to the client and says, hey, take a look here. Here's everybody that connected. You see we have 22 pages just in the last 7 days. And over here as well, you can see all the stats of people who have logged in over the last 30 days. We see all the numbers here. We see the spikes obviously happening on the weekend on busy times. But we got significant amount of data here getting piped in, and everything is always available to Zack, so you can run all kinds of awesome automations with that. So thank you so much, Zack, for letting us take a look at your live platforms and telling us how awesome your campaigns have been. And just to finish things off, do you have any wise words or any kind of advice that you can leave anybody who's either thinking about starting a Wi-Fi business, anyone who's maybe gotten started, needs some help, and really just some words of advice that has helped you scale it to really just almost owning the town of Sedona?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say don't be afraid to go and talk to other to networking companies or even local ISP providers and stuff. Your Cox and your AT&T and all those guys. I mean, forget all that. But you'd be surprised. There's actually, and I didn't know this until I got into this, but there's local commercial ISP providers and resellers of internet service that have huge client books. That and they don't want to do marketing. They want to sell internet service and networking. So it's, in this case, in my case here, it's been a good relationship because the things that we do, they don't want to write content and emails and deal with all this graphic design. So it's just not their core business. But they do want to plug in more customers, offer more services and have that part happening. So I'd say put your feelers out for local, smaller ISP providers because those can be great partnerships. And then also at the same time, don't be afraid to, like I say, hunt for problems, just strike up conversations with people, drop business cards, be helpful, and things start happening. I promise you that. And this is, it can be any more simple, really.
Great. Well, thank you so much. I know that I appreciate it. All of our Wi-Fi partners appreciate it as well. And I want you to keep rocking those sales in Sedona. I want to hear some massive success stories. We've already heard some great things happen from you, but I definitely think that you're on the right page and you're doing things right as far as the content goes, the social lead gen goes, and really building your agency into a huge one. So thank you and best of luck to you. And looking forward to helping you grow your business.
Thanks, Kevin. Thanks very much.